Hello Instagram, welcome to today's Lunchtime Live. Today we're going to be talking about another aspect of creating the life we want, and this is whether or not our happiness and fulfillment in life are defined by the hand that we're dealt in life, or whether or not we can actually influence it. So why is this important, you might ask? Well, it's one of the things that I hear so often, and the problem is that it can act as a belief which literally wraps itself around your entire life, and it limits it and constrains it. So if you believe, for example, that you cannot influence how happy or how fulfilled you feel, and you aren't really feeling that great about your life at the moment, how is that going to help you to be to feel optimistic and hopeful about your future? I'm Vicky Newham, and I'm hosting these conversations live here on Instagram every day for 30 days. And I've been teaching psychology for over 19 years now, and I am passionate about helping others to create the life they want. So the reason this question of whether or not our happiness, is determined by the hand we're dealt in life is so important is because if we believe that we can't do anything, to change our life or our life circumstances, then it really does mean that we can end up then being stuck with the hand that life dealt us, if you like. And then usually what we mean by that term, is the sort of the lot we were kind of handed at birth, what we were kind of born into, if you like. Now, the problem with this then is that, if the hand that we're dealt in life is fine, or even okay, then that's great. If it's wonderful, well, that's even better. But if it's not great, do you see how then that can create an unnecessary problem? Now, another reason why this is really important is because it's not actually that common in life for us to be sort of taught and shown when we're growing up how to be happy. How to create a life that's fulfilling and full of meaning and purpose. We're often taught, for example, to, work hard, not tell lies, not steal, don't upset your mum, you mustn't upset your dad, all of those kind of things, to kind of just get on with life, not complain, etc. And they're great. Many of those are really important lessons, to be kind of taught in life. But the problem then is that we also need to learn how to be happy and how to be fulfilled. So just as I was talking there, it really made me wonder, I'd love to know in the comments, do any of those sort of messages ring true for you? Things like, work hard, be dutiful, don't lie, don't upset your dad, you mustn't upset your mum. Do those things ring true for you? And also, more importantly, I'm really interested to know, did you get any guidance when you were growing up about, how to be happy, how to navigate life? So I'd love to know in the comments below. Now, I have to share that, one of my favourite programmes growing up was Little House on the Prairie. Excuse me. And I just adored that programme so much. So much so that, I used to want to kind of go and live in the Little House on the Prairie. And the scenes that I liked the most were the ones where Laura, I think the middle child, and used to have these most amazing kind of pep talks, these kind of, one-on-one chats with Pa Ingalls. And it was usually in the barn, on a hail of bay, or it was kind of out on the porch or something, while they were sitting there together. And, the reason why I loved these scenes so much was because he was showing his daughter how to navigate life, and he was showing her how to be happy. And I just love these scenes, but it's not really that common that, that kind of guidance, sort of takes place. And so what I wanted to do then is let's sort of drill down a bit, if we can, into some of the questions that we need to ask. And so I wanted to ask about, what do we mean by this expression? We just have to get on with the hand that life deals us. What is that hand? That we're dealt. So, are we talking then in biological terms? So, are we talking about genetics? And if so, it's really important to understand that genes just don't work like that. There isn't a gene for happiness. There isn't a gene for, being able to find fulfillment in life. So another question then is, well, if it's not biology, if it's not genetic, then, happiness isn't something which is genetic. Well, what else could it be then? And so another sort of possibility then is that what we're really talking about then is that it's something that we've learnt, something that we've been taught. And there is certainly a lot of evidence to show that, this is exactly what happened. So for Laura Ingalls, the chances of her growing up to having a life that is happy and fulfilling. Can't remember how the series ended, but technically speaking, with all those kind of pep talks and lovely chats, she should have learned really to have to be happy, or to know how to be happy. Okay, now, so when we're talking about also the hand that life dealt us, then the word dealt, kind of always makes me think about sort of an authority figure, handing something out to us that we're not allowed to give back. And it's quite an interesting image to have, really. And so, I think about sort of a poker game. This is what it brings to my mind, and people, or any game of cards, where people deal the cards to you, and kind of they're in control because they deal the cards, they shuffle them and they deal them out to you, and you have to pick them up, and you have to work with literally, the hand that you're dealt. I don't know in poker, I'm not a poker player, and I don't really know anything about kind of card gambling and stuff. I don't know whether you're allowed to give the cards back. No, I don't like those, thank you. Can I have another set? But actually, it's a really nice metaphor, for what we can do in life. Because if we don't like the hand that we've been dealt, then what about giving it back? What about setting it aside and, okay, that's great life, but that's not quite what I want really. I'll just put that there if you don't mind too much. And I'll work on creating a different life for myself. What do you think? So let's think again then about this question. So whether we have had, a par Ingalls in our life, or whether we've had someone sort of neutral, so someone who wasn't really either particularly helpful, in terms of showing us how to be happy, but also wasn't unhelpful. So, that's kind of second kind of person we could have had in our life growing up. Or thirdly, and obviously much more complexly, we could have had somebody whose influence was much more negative, etc. And so what it's really interesting then, to think about is, you see, if you've tuned into some of my previous lives, you'll have twigged that, I'm very much into the idea that what we believe, really can limit us. But what we're talking about here in this particular live isn't so much about how our beliefs can limit us, but it's about what can we do then, to change those beliefs, and what can we do to transcend them. So if we have grown up with this belief that, you just have to get on with the hands that life has dealt with you and just, make the best of it and, not complain because lots of other people have it far worse, how can we transcend that belief? I'd really love to know what your experiences are of this topic, and so I'd love to know what you have done to transcend these beliefs, because there are things that we can do. And so this idea then, going back to the metaphor of the card dealer dealing us out this hand of cards, and us looking at them and taking stock and asking ourselves, is this the life that I want for myself? Okay, well, I'll keep that card. Yeah, that card's okay. No, not sure about that one. Here you go, life. You can have that one back. I'm wondering what you think about that. Does that give us more possibility? Does that allow us, to feel that we have more control over our life? Does that enable us to feel more optimistic and more hopeful about our ability to create the life that we want? What do you think? So, obviously, I'm oversimplifying things here. I'm aware that there are lots of things in life that, aren't quite as simple as that to change. But when we look at what we can change, isn't it worth seeing what we can do about that? Do let me know. Now, if you'd like to find out more about how to create a life that is based on your values, then you may find my online course, Your Path to Fulfillment, How to Create a Life with Purpose and Meaning, useful. And it's actually free at the moment. So do go and enroll in that and start learning. The link can be found so on my website, vickynewham.com, or if you're watching this on Instagram, you can also find the link to my free course in the bio above. And so I will be back here again for tomorrow's Lunchtime Live, and we'll be looking at another very exciting aspect of how to create the life you want. So I'll see you back here tomorrow. That's on Instagram at 1300 hours GMT. So bye for now. Bye bye.